Hi, I'm Cynthia Dearin from the International Business Accelerator, and I'm really pleased that you could tune in. Today, I'm talking to Chris Simpson, a corporate strategy consultant based in New Zealand. Now, Chris helps businesses to enter the New Zealand market, connect with the right people, and navigate through legislation and regulations. Chris, hi, it's great to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me on, Cynthia. Looking forward to it.
So today we're going to talk about opportunities for foreign companies in the New Zealand market and how to access those opportunities. But before we get started, because there are a lot of people who don't know that much about New Zealand, I was wondering whether you could give us a quick snapshot of what New Zealand's economy looks like.
Yeah, good question, because they probably will think we're just a nation of sheep. So there's about nearly 5 million New Zealanders now, and the actual economy is around the $260 billion mark. So it's the 55th largest economy in the world. Our annual growth is around 4%, and it's been an economy that's doing incredibly well. Over the past 8 years, we've had a lot of investment into our economy, both internationally and through the New Zealand government. Inflation is very low. It's only around 0.4%. So it's been consistently low for about a decade because of a thing called the Reserve Bank Act, where the fiscal and the monetary aspects of the government and fiscal policies looked after quite differently. And also our unemployment rate is only around 4.9%, which again is consistently low. So it's a very strong economy.
That's really interesting. Now, we were talking a little earlier before we started to record this interview about the biggest opportunities for foreign companies. And you mentioned property and construction. And I'm curious to know why that is, and does it have anything to do with earthquakes?
Yeah, I suppose that's where we've been hitting the headlines quite a lot recently, especially over the past sort of 6 years. The New Zealand economy is much stronger than the earthquakes, and the earthquakes in Christchurch, which was around $7 billion of investment by the New Zealand government, is still under active construction. And the recent earthquakes were at the top of the South Island, where there's not a large population density, but there's still a lot of investment going on there. The biggest area is in the construction and the property world. So New Zealand property is around the $1 trillion mark. So it's a decent sized part of the economy. It's about an eighth of all GDP. And within that, the New Zealand government is going to invest about $34 billion over the next 4 years on construction, infrastructure, specific projects. And
you said 34 billion.
34 billion of a $260 billion economy.
That's pretty significant, isn't it?
And it's significant, and it's significant also because it's pretty much underwritten by the government. So if you were to look at it from an investment perspective, this is a large amount of support from a government who needs to get things built because we've been so far behind, plus also the likes of the earthquakes, but also Auckland's now an international city. So.
Yes. And so if you're a construction company coming from outside New Zealand, looking to enter the New Zealand market, how would you go about that? What would the best way to do that be?
Well, like anything, always work with the appropriate agencies in market in New Zealand, and that can be the likes of the New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, which is an organisation that helps inward investment. To work with them, you want to be registered as a New Zealand company. Of course, look at the likes of Austrade, so the Australian Trade and Investment Commission. They're quite heavily involved in the commercial market in Auckland. They're based in the consulate, so they're in the largest city, and they're very much across the construction and the building industry. The other areas, of course, are like the New Zealand Property Council of New Zealand, with its sister organisation in Australia, the Australian Property Council. Really useful, lots of research, lots of data, lots of stats, and great seminars. And then you get into the likes of the New Zealand Institute of Building. And so there's a wide variety at both the government and also very much at the private sector level, which will actually help de-risk your investment into New Zealand and coming into market.
And so those should be the first ports of call when you're looking at the New Zealand market and trying to figure out how you go about it.
Yeah, absolutely. The one really good thing about New Zealand being such a small economy, we have a lot of data and a lot of research publicly available in an open forum. So always look at the New Zealand Treasury statistics, and also there's a part of Treasury called the New Zealand Infrastructure Council, which has all that material. So you can actually look at it very in depth before you even actually look at moving to the market. So all the information is there, and we're very open about all of that.
And that research is key. So I think that's a great tip. Chris, before we finish up, if you had to give one piece of advice for foreign companies on working with New Zealand and New Zealanders, what would it be?
Take it at face value. New Zealanders really are, it is what it is. So there's no hidden agenda. There is no way to want to obfuscate what's going on. They'll tell you for what it is. Really easy to do business with, and also a lot of fun.
I love it. Chris, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Folks, if you've got comments or questions, please put them in the comment box below at the bottom of this post and I will respond. If you'd like to find out more about how to turn your small business into an international success story, please visit us at the link here on the bottom of the screen. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.